You just get a thumbs up. Yeah. City ready? Ready? Code enforcement? Jack, ready? Yes, sir. Okay, then I will call us to order. Start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if anybody who's going to give testimony, if you'll stay standing, I'll get everybody sworn in at once. Do you all swear from the testimony you give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you. And for the respondents in the room, my name is Drew Smith. I am the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate for the city. I am not a lawyer for the city. I'm hired to be an independent fact finder in these hearings. I've been a local government attorney for a little over 20 years now. Order of procedure today will be on each case. We're going to take each of your cases out of order. So, sir, you'll be the first one up and you'll be number 2, so you don't have to wait around for these other cases. But when we call the case, Code Enforcement will approach the podium first. They'll present the evidence testimony they have for me. Once they're done, if you have any questions for the Code Enforcement Officer, you're allowed to ask those. And if you don't have any questions, or after you've asked the questions, you're also allowed to present to me any testimony and evidence you'd like me to receive. When I've heard and received all the evidence testimony, I will enter a verbal ruling today. That will be followed in the mail by a written order that will capture everything that I said in my verbal ruling, and we will go from there. It looks like we have one more respondent. I'm just going to find out who that is so we can get him put into order too. Which case? Okay, so not a respondent. Okay. And then, clerk, you may call the first case we're hearing today.
Case number 2023-408, Terrence G. Stephen R. L.E., owner, location of violation 910 Florida Avenue, Unit B, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Community Compliance Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 910 Florida Avenue, Unit B. At this time, I'd like to enter into evidence the following items. Copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail. Copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $235.70. And he is here. Okay, on March 2nd, the City of St. Cloud Police Department requested an inspection to be completed during the execution of a warrant. During that time, I observed accumulation, several damaged doors, electrical and plumbing violations, a pest infestation, missing and inoperable smoke detectors, missing window locks, and missing insect screens. 13 photos were taken. On March 6th, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail. On April 2nd, I spoke with the property management company who advised that they had filed for eviction and would need more time to correct the violations. On April 20th, I made contact with the property management company by email for a status update and was advised that the property was being painted and that they would reach out to me and let me know when everything was completed so a reinspection could be done. On May 10th, I made contact again with the property management company by phone for a status update. They advised that they thought everything was completed and that they had new tenants moving in on the 12th. On May 11th, Supervisor Howells and I completed a reinspection There were several violations that were not addressed. Supervisor Howes agreed to let the new tenants move in on the 12th, since none of the violations were life safety issues. I explained to the property manager that the tenants moving in would need to grant code enforcement access to the property for a reinspection once the violations were cured, and they had agreed to that. One photo was taken. That was the photo. On June 1st, Officer Miller and I completed a reinspection, and I was able to verify that the plug for the front room AC was not the correct plug. The cord for the AC unit in the front bedroom does not reach the outlet without the need for an extension cord. There's a leak under the kitchen sink. There were not any insect screens. There was not a lock on the bathroom window. There was a loose electrical receptacle in the back bedroom. I sent an email to the property management company with the results from that inspection, and 7 photos were taken.
Can you go back to the smoke detector? What am I looking at with the smoke
It
detector?
wasn't working. It needed,
So non-functioning, okay.
yes. That window doesn't have a lock.
Or screen, does that window require a screen?
Yes, that one needed a screen as well. On June 14th, I emailed the property management company for a status update. They had advised that they were still working on correcting some of the items. On June 27th, I emailed the property management company for a status update and was advised the property owner didn't like the quote that was originally received for the insect screens, and they were working on some of the additional items. On July 31st, I had not heard back from the property manager or the property owner, so I sent a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail to the owner of record, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and 2 photos were taken. As of today, 8/16, I have not been able to verify that the violations were corrected. The property management had advised me that they are all cured as of today. I just have not been able to verify that. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing a residential dwelling unit to be lived in without proper maintenance and repairs and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until August 31st to cure the violations, or a fine in the amount of $100 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $235.70 to be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Richard Michael Sane. I am the agent for Real Source Property Management, here to represent the owner. So basically, the owner wanted to do the repairs himself, or not himself, but have his vendor do it. And then unfortunately, the vendor did not conclude the repairs, then turning it back over to us. So we just recently had all of the repairs completed at the property.
Okay. Any issues with allowing code enforcement in to inspect?
No, absolutely. Be more than willing to coordinate. I gave her my contact information personally. That way you can deal with me directly instead of my assistants.
Okay. Anything else you'd like me to hear before I?
No, sir.
So as much as I would like to take your word, it's cleaner if I go ahead and find in favor of the city, because right now it's just your word. And so why I ask about the inspection is to make sure that, just like last time, it's very possible that there might be something that's left over, hadn't been taken care of. So sooner rather than later, I'd like you guys to get together, have that inspection. That way they still have time, because I am going to enter the order that the city has requested in order that the violations be cured within, by August 31. But I did make a note to myself, based on the code enforcement officer's testimony, that I expected you to say the violations have been cured. So the order will say that there was a violation. I will make a note in the order that says you have said that the violations are cured, and then I'll say, to ensure that they are,
Okay.
you're going to allow an inspection to occur before the 31st, and anything that code enforcement identifies that has not yet been cured, you will fix that by August 31st. Does that
Yes,
sound
sir.
like a plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
May I attend the inspection with you, or?
I
with
would
my
hope you
staff?
would, yes. That's
Okay. That might make it
that's
easier.
ideal if you can,
Okay.
yes. So if
Okay.
y'all could coordinate that and you can be there, that's perfect.
Okay, thank you.
If not brought into compliance by August 31st, then a fine in the amount of $100 per day will run. And I heard you talking earlier, yeah, there are no fines today. We always give an opportunity to cure before fines get imposed. The one cost that will be incurred, though, is the administrative cost of the city. And normally I order that to be paid within 7 days. If there's a hardship, I will grant more time. Is there any hardship? It's $235.70.
No, prepared to
Any
pay it
hardship?
today.
Okay. I figured you were going to say that, so I will enter that order too, that amount will be due within 7 days for my written order. So
Okay.
when you get that written order, and if you would, just so I have your address so I can send you a copy of it also, instead of just the property owner, what is the best mailing address to use for you?
6900 Turkey Lake Road, and that's going to be Suite 2-3, Orlando 32819.
And I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Richard, last name is Sane, Sierra Echo, India, November.
Got it. Okay, so that is my order. I do find that there is a violation. I do note that the property owner claims that it is cured. I don't doubt that it has been, but just to ensure, I will order that any remaining violations be cured by August 31st. I am requesting and will include in the order the request that the code enforcement and the respondent's agent meet on site to make sure that all violations have been cured. Like I said, anything that hasn't been cured by August 31st, fines in the amount of $100 per day will run, and respondent will pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in bringing this action in the amount of $235.70. That amount will be due within 7 days from the date of my written order.
Okay,
Thank you.
Do we just mail a check to?
We'll have instructions in the order, but if
Okay.
you'll arrange that with the clerk, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Case number 2023-852, Harvey Haslett, owner, location of violation, 1008 Florida Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Community Compliance Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 1008 Florida Avenue. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, posted on the property and City Hall. Revised copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $267.80, and he is here. On May 18th, Community Compliance was notified by the St. Cloud Police Department that the police and fire department responded to this location for a roof collapse. Community Compliance met with the chief building inspector at the property. The owner was not home at the time of the initial inspection, so we were only able to inspect the exterior of the property. The chief building inspector deemed that it was unsafe and unfit for human occupancy. The property was red tagged at that time. I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail to the owner of record, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 11 photos.
Was it a flat roof?
Yes. On May 18th, we received a call from the property owner who requested an on-site meeting to discuss the red tag and the posting. On May 19th, the building official, Officer Neal, and myself met with Mr. Hazlitt to discuss the condition of the property. The building official was able to determine that the roof collapse was only affecting the enclosed front porch area and not the main living structure. He advised that the red tag could be removed. Mr. Hazlitt was advised that he needed to apply for permitting for the repairs within 15 days. On May 23rd, I sent out a revised notice of violation to the owner of record, posted the property and City Hall, and did an affidavit of posting. The revision was to remove the red tag information for the structure being unfit for human occupancy. On July 24th, I was able to verify that an application for permit was not submitted. I also performed a re-inspection and one photo was taken. I'm sorry, these were my 19th photos. On July 31st, I was unable to verify that an application for permit was submitted. I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and one photo was taken. On August 11th, I was able to verify that an application for permit was not submitted. I also performed a re-inspection and one photo was taken. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing the roof to remain in disrepair, kept in an unsanitary condition, and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until October 2nd to obtain a permit, or a fine in the amount of $100 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $267.80 be paid within 7 days of the magistrate's written order. This concludes my presentation.
So that I understand the request, so you're asking for just the permit to be obtained by October 2nd, not for work to be completed? So
Yes, sir,
he
just
would
the
have
permit.
to complete the work within the lifespan of that permit. Is that the idea? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And sir?
I've been having a lot of trouble hiring a contractor to do this. I've never hired a contractor before. And I figured it'd be just simple to call a roofing company and have them come and take care of everything for me. But I found out the hard way that roofers only handle the outside layers. They don't actually do the underlying woodwork, which I need to do. But as far as the roof goes, I've taken all the rotten wood out, all the stuff in there. So most of that's already gone. The city picked it all up and everything. Everything that's left is
The
good
roof.
wood still.
So have you made any progress at all in hiring a contractor?
No, I haven't.
So my suggestion would be to reach out to general contractors for that work. You're right, because roofers are just gonna put on shingles or tiles. And so probably your best bet is to start off with general contractors.
I'm kind of getting the impression that it's a 10 by 20 roof, right? It's a small project. And I'm thinking some of the resistance I'm getting is because it's such a small project, they don't want to really
And contractors are busy right now.
Yeah.
You're very right.
do a little small project on the side maybe, but if they got bigger projects, that's what they want to do. But most of my call, I talk to the receptionist. I don't get any call back or contact. Nobody stops by to even look at it.
The clerk has reminded me to get you to state your name for the record, please.
Harvey Hazlitt.
Thank you. So, no disagreement that there is a violation, though, correct?
Yeah.
And so,
I've
here's
been
my,
working.
go ahead.
I've been working hard to get it corrected. Like I said, I went through and myself, I took down all the rotten wood and everything. I left enough that I can secure the tarp and support it a little bit so it won't pool.
The city has asked for me to order you to cure by October 2nd, which is a fair amount of time and more than they would normally ask for. So they have already asked for more time than typical for this type of case. My concern is what you've expressed, which is it is a small project in a time when it's hard to find contractors. At the same time, though, it is a bad situation. It's a bad situation for you and the city. And so it's imperative that you do make progress to get a contractor to get those permits in. I think that's also a little bit of leniency the city is offering that you heard me ask about, to require you to have permits by October 2nd, not work completed by October 2nd. So start going down that phone book for general contractors and get somebody out there to take a look at that property and get it repaired. So that the city can deal with the code enforcement case, but like I say, I'm also concerned about the property itself, because even though that's not livable space, it looks like that the roof is collapsed over, it will creep. You know, if it stays in that condition, it's going to
Oh,
start.
that's, like I said, all the bad wood's gone.
I know all the bad wood's gone, but
The
that
porch-
water's
the
gonna
por-
find ways in.
The porch roof is separate from the main roof. It's not the same roof at all.
No points of contact whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
Just-
They added that porch on after the house was
It
built.
can't stay in that condition.
I
but
know.
it's-
I
it's
don't
not
want it
good
that
for
way. I
you
want a roof
either.
on my house.
Yeah, once a component fails, other components tend to go along with it, and that's a definite concern. So the sooner you get it done, the better. I also note that we're in, and we're moving now into the peak of the hurricane season with storms out in the
I know,
Atlantic.
it's got me scared too.
Yeah, it's just a bad situation, so it's really, really, really important that you move on it and not waste any time and find somebody who can take care of it. So I am going to order that it be cured by obtaining a permit by October 2nd. Stay in touch with with the community compliance officer. Let her know what your progress is, so that because the better you stay in touch with them, the better they're able to help you. And if you start getting to October 2nd, if you've been in touch with her, letting her know what you're doing step by step by step and when you're doing it, if I do have to see you again, she will tell me all about that, and we will all know that you have been working hard. So keep in touch with them. But yeah, get moving on getting somebody out there to get the permit application in, because that's the first step, and that's all I'm ordering you to do today. Once that permit is issued, that permit has a lifespan 6 months typically, right? That's what it would be, 6 months. Did you say 90 days? 180 days. So 180 days, and that the work would have to be completed within. So the other part, and you heard in the prior case, that I will award administrative costs incurred by the city, that the amount they've requested is $267.80. If you have a hardship, I will extend the time from 7 days to when you think you can get that paid. Is there a hardship in paying that amount right now? And I am mindful that you're going to have to pay a contractor to get this completed, and we all would like to see this completed before we worry about you paying for those costs. So is there a hardship in paying the $267 at this time? That will be paid eventually, but is there a hardship in paying it soon?
Yeah, I could pay it right now. It'd be-
Okay, you
you
don't have to pay
take
it right
debit
now.
card.
If it comes down to paying the city of the administrative cost or paying a contractor to get that roof fixed, I want you to pay the contractor first and pay the city second. So that's why I'm asking you, that's why I'm kind of pushing the issue here. Is there any hardship? Does it create any hardship? No? Okay.
Shouldn't be.
Okay, then that is my order. Find there is a violation, order the violation to be cured by obtaining permits for the roof repair by October 2nd, 2023. If not brought into compliance, a fine in the amount of $100 per day will run until compliance is met. You will stay in contact with this. You'll get all of this in a written order. You don't have to keep detailed notes. It'll all come to you in the mail. Keep in touch with that code enforcement officer. Let her know what's going on. Let them help as much as they can. They can't do the work for you. They can't get a contractor for you, but they can at least, help however they can. And I am also ordering that the administrative cost, the amount of $267.80, be paid within 7 days from the date of my written order. Okay?
Can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
What about a handyman?
No, absolutely
No
not.
way, no
Yep,
how.
they do not have the ability to pull a permit for that job. Nope. It's gonna have to be a licensed contractor and handyman. There are, I don't know, I can't remember if there's such thing as a licensed handyman, but that's not a license recognized by Florida Building Code.
Okay, because like I said, it's a small project. I'm
I
looking
know.
at a smaller
It's a
company.
tough one.
Type of thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've been trying to call the big companies around here in St. Cloud, and like I said, I don't think they mess around with small things like a porch roof. So, oh well, I have to keep trying to see
Yes, sir.
anybody and everybody.
Appreciate you being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, everything you've had to say, and just keep working on it. Get it taken care of.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all there is to it?
And then
Okay.
that's my card, and then if you need to just reach out to me.
Okay.
With you on that, okay?
So I should just leave?
Yeah, you can. Thank you.
So that's what he's here on?
I believe so.
let's ask them. So which case is that? Is that, we have the tenant is here on,
Oh, you're going.
do you mind if we take that one out of order so he doesn't have to stick around for everything? I guess he's not too far down the agenda, but
4201. Lavender?
yeah, so next one would be 2023-748.
Case number 2023-748, THR Florida LP owner, location of violation 4201 Lavender Way, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Alex Miller, Community Compliance Officer for the City of St. Cloud. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items. Copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail, posted at the property and City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of posting, evidence of mailings, copy of the section in violation of, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred. The magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $342.90, and the respondent is not here.
Thank you. Okay.
On April 25, 2023, Code Enforcement received a complaint from the tenant about several ongoing issues with the property. On 4/26, I met with the tenant and I observed there is an indication of a leak to the downstairs bathroom ceiling and wall that was located under the AC unit, a hole in the bathroom wall, and a hole under the kitchen sink. The stair handrail was not structurally sound. The bedroom sliding door did not have an insect screen and was secured with a screw and was not allowing the door to be open. Some electrical outlets needed to be replaced due to not being properly installed. The pull screen enclosure was not being properly maintained and not structurally sound. The frame is missing screws and have some inserts that are torn or missing. The doors are not able to be properly closed and not providing a secure pull barrier. The tenant advised that they have tried to contact the owner in several opportunities, but no progress was achieved. A notice of violation was sent by regular mail to the owner, agent, and to the tenant for the violations to be corrected. An email with the pictures were also sent to the owner advising of the violations, and they replied stating that they will be taking care of the issues. 13 pictures were taken. On May 25th, a reinspection was performed and verified that not all the violations were corrected and the property was still in violation. On June 1st, a notice of violation by certified mail was sent to the owner and agent, and a copy was provided to the tenant. Another email was also sent to the owner advising of the violations that still needed to be corrected, but no reply was ever received. On July 19, 2023, I called the tenant to inquire about the violations being corrected and to make an appointment to verify that the violations that were corrected. The tenant now indicates that there is water coming inside the house through the front door, and that there is an inside unit AC that was replaced. On July 26th and again on July 31st, I went to the property and verified that there is a new inside unit and no permit was obtained, and there were still some violations that needed of a fix, and 10 pictures were taken. On August 1st, a statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent by certified mail to the owner and agent, posted the property in City Hall. An affidavit of posting was created and one photo of the posting was taken. On August 11th, I verified that the property is still in violation and 7 more pictures were taken. While at the property, a maintenance person for the owner was there, and I tried to inquire about the items that needed to be fixed, and he stated that he doesn't have any answers and he cannot speak with me. On 7 pictures. I'm gonna show you 7 pictures. Today I verified that there is an application for the AC unit replacement, but it has not been obtained, and the rest of the violations has not been corrected. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing a residential dwelling to be lived in without proper maintenance and repairs, and not obtaining a permit for the replacement of the inside AC unit by the time specified. The city will recommend that the respondent be given until September 1st, 2023, to correct all the violations and obtain the permit, or a fine in the amount of $250 be assessed until compliance is met. The city will also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $342.90 to be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. This concludes my presentation.
Did the tenant have any testimony he wanted to offer, or was he just here to observe?
Just to observe.
And based on the evidence testimony received, I'll find in favor of the city, find the property is in violation, order the owner to cure the violation by September 1st, 2023. If the violations are not brought into compliance by said date, a fine in the amount of $250 per day will run until compliance is met. We'll also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $342.90, which amount will be due within 7 days from the date of my written order.
Thank you, sir.
Case number 2023-216, Manuela Tesquin Lopez, owner, location of violation, 811 Georgia Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Community Compliance Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 811 Georgia Avenue. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the courtesy notice sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the costs incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation of the amount of $261.80, and they are not here. I wanted to provide a little bit of history on this property. While doing research to start the case for this property, I learned that the property was destroyed by a fire in February of 2020. In August of 2021, the structure was deemed unsafe by the building official. It was requested that the property be demolished, and a permit for the demo was obtained. The demo permit was extended multiple times, and the work was never completed. In June of 22, a permit was submitted to rebuild the property. Again, no work was completed. In October of 2022, a revoke letter was submitted to the building department for the demo and for the rebuild because the owner was selling the property. This property was purchased as is by the current owners in October of 2022. On February 7th, during routine patrol, I observed an unsafe structure and high grass and weeds at this location. 10 photos were taken. On February 10th, I sent out a courtesy notice by regular mail. On March 8th, I verified that there was not an application for permit submitted to the building department. I also completed a re-inspection and the violations were not corrected. I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail. 9 photos were taken. On March 23rd, I verified that there was not an application for permit submitted to the building department. I also completed a re-inspection and the property was partially mowed. 3 photos were taken.
Where did they fail to mow?
In the rear yard, and my picture didn't come out very clear, so I was not able to add it.
I'll accept your testimony, it's fine.
On March 27th, I sent out a notice of violation by regular mail, posted the property in City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 5 photos.
Any communication from the property owner?
Not from the property owner. This is my next. On April 11th, I received a call from Mark with API Engineering, who advised that he would be submitting for permitting within 2 weeks. On April 28th, I received an email from Mark with API Engineering, who advised that the construction documents were not completed and requested an additional 2 weeks. I granted the extension until May 12th. On May 16th, I verified that there was not an application for permit submitted to the building department. I also completed a re-inspection and the violation was not corrected. The grass and weeds over the whole property were starting to get high again. I sent out a statement of violation notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and 6 photos were taken.
When you talked to the engineer, did you get the sense that they'd actually seen the property?
No, when I talked to him, he said that he
This
was.
isn't a rehab, this is a demo.
Yeah, he said that he was drawing up the plans to have it rebuilt, because I guess they were also doing an extension on the back of the home. So, but then I haven't heard back from him, and I've tried to reach out by email and phone, and I've not gotten a response. So I don't know if maybe she's had to hire somebody else. I'm not sure.
Well, it doesn't really make any difference in my ruling. It was a curiosity, because if the engineers saw this, I can't imagine that they would see it to be cost effective to repair this structure.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to tear it down and build it new.
This property had to be renoticed on July 31st. I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property in City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 1 photo. On August 11th, I verified that there is not a permit submitted for the repairs to the building department. 10 photos were taken. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of having an unmaintained and unsafe structure, dangerous to the life, health, and safety to the public, high grass and weeds over a height of 8 inches and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until September 8th to cure the violations and to secure permitting or a fine in the amount of $100 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $261.80 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
Let's talk about what you want to happen to get this into compliance. So, obviously the grass gets mowed, but as to the structure itself, so you say given until September 8th to cure the violations and secure permitting. Similar question to the last case. When you say cure the violation and secure permitting, if they come in and get their construction documents in, pick up their permit for a repair by September 8th, Is that sufficient?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the other thing that I note about that property is it's open. So I think if we're gonna say they have to get permits by September 8th and not fix the problem by September 8th, I think we also need to say, secure the structure. Any objection from the city on ordering them to secure that structure?
No.
Okay. Okay, but then with that note, then I'm prepared to find that the respondent is in violation, order the respondent to cure the violations by September 8th, 2023. As to the structure, obtaining permitting for either repair or demolition by September 8th will satisfy at least part of that requirement to cure, provided that the structure is made secure, that openings and access points into the structure are boarded up or otherwise closed off to public access.
Okay.
Or the respondent to pay a fine in the amount of $100 per day if they do not cure all of the violations by September 8th, 2023, as provided herein. Also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs in the amount of $261.80, which amount will be due from the respondent within 7 days of the date of my written order.
Case number 2023-620, Francisco A. Guzman, owner, location of violation, 812 Kentucky Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Community Compliance Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 812 Kentucky Avenue. At this time, I'd like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the courtesy notice sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail, posted on the property in City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of posting, evidence of mailings, code section in violation of, copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the costs incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $263.70. And he is not here. On April 3rd, after receiving a complaint, I performed an inspection at this location and observed an accumulation, high grass and weeds, and a fence in disrepair. During the inspection, I made contact with the property owners that were on site. They advised that they had tenants who recently moved out and left the property in its current condition. I advised of the violations that needed to be addressed and that a landlord business tax receipt would need to be obtained. 4 photos were taken. On April 4th, I sent out a courtesy notice by regular mail. On April 28th, a reinspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. 5 photos were taken. On May 5th, I sent out a notice of violation by regular mail. On May 22nd, a reinspection was performed and I verified that the fence was repaired and the property was mowed. However, there was an accumulation in the easement behind the property. No landlord business tax receipt on file. 4 photos were taken.
So at this time, May 22nd I'm talking about, was there a tenant in the property?
Not yet.
Is there a tenant in the property now?
Yes.
Okay.
On May 23rd, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail. On May 26th, the certified mail was delivered and signed for. On July 7th, a reinspection was performed and I observed that the accumulation in the easement behind the property was cleaned up. At that time, the grass and weeds were high again, so the violation was added back to the case and there was still not a landlord business tax receipt on file. I sent out a notice of violation by regular mail. On June 20th, a reinspection was performed and the grass violation was not corrected and there was not a landlord business tax receipt on file. 3 photos were taken. On June 29th, while
On this photograph, in the foreground, is that the same is this one property, or is that where the property line is?
that's the property line.
Okay, thank you.
On June 29th, while on patrol in the area, I noticed the property was not mowed. 2 photos were taken. On July 6th, a reinspection was performed and the grass violation was not corrected. There was not a landlord business tax receipt on file. 5 photos were taken. On July 31st, a reinspection was performed and I observed that the property was mowed but was getting high again. There's still not a landlord business tax receipt on file. 4 photos were taken. On August 5th, the certified mail was signed for. On August 11th, a reinspection was performed and the grass was mowed, curing that violation. I was able to verify that there still is not a landlord business tax receipt on file. 4 photos were taken.
Have you talked to the property owner?
No. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing a rental property without an obtained business tax receipt and having high grass and weeds over a height of 8 inches at this location and not corrected by the time specified. The city would also recommend that the respondent be given until August 31st to correct the grass violation and obtain the landlord business tax receipt, or a fine in the amount of $100 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $263.70 to be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
Based on the evidence testimony received, I'll find in favor of the city, find that the respondent is in violation. Order the respondent to cure the violations by August 31st, 2023. If not brought into compliance by that date, a fine in the amount of $100 per day will run for each day the property remains in noncompliance. I'll also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $263.70. That amount will be due within 7 days from the date of my written order.
Thank you.
Case number 2023-742, Christina Josephine Lay, owner, Eduardo Torres, tenant, location of violation 736 Medina Street, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Pam Neal, Community Compliance Officer. I am presenting this case for the property located at 736 Modena Street. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items. A copy of the courtesy notice was sent to the owner and the tenant. A copy of the notice violation sent to the owner and the tenant. A copy of the notice violation sent by certified mail to the owner and the tenant. A copy of the notice violation with the new date was sent to the owner and the tenant and posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the statement of violation, notice of hearing, sent by certified mail to the owner and the tenant and posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation, copy of the affidavits of postings, evidence of mailings, copy of the deed to the property, copy of the code section in violation, copy of the costs incurred if the special magistrate finds a respondent in violation in the amount of $303.90. The respondent is not here. On April 20th, 2023, I received a complaint about vehicles at this location with no tags and inoperable. On April 21st, I went to the location to verify the complaint, and there was a car with no tag, and I took 1 photo. On April
The silver one?
Yes. On April 26th, a courtesy notice was sent to the owner and the tenant. On May 12th, a reinspection was performed and the vehicle was still in violation with no tag. I took 1 photo. On May 15th, the notice violation was sent to the owner and the tenant. On May 31st, a reinspection was performed and the vehicle was still in violation with no tag. I took 1 photo. On June 16th, a reinspection was performed and there are 2 vehicles now, one with no tag and one with an expired tag. I took 2 photos. On June 1st, the notice violation was sent by certified mail to the owner and the tenant. On June 20th, a notice violation with the new date was sent to the owner and the tenant and posted on the property and City Hall. An affidavit of posting was completed, and I took 4 photos. On July 7th, the reinspection was performed, and the gray car still had an expired tag, and there was a different car parked with no tag, and both were parked in the road. The tenant was outside, so I stopped to talk to him and explain the violation, and I told him I would be back on Monday, July 10th, to check for compliance. On July 7th, I took 3 photos. On July 10th, the reinspection was performed, and the gray car was still back in the driveway with an expired tag. I took 1 photo. On July 11th, a statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent by certified mail to the owner and the tenant and posted on the property in City Hall. An affidavit of posting was completed, and I took 1 photo. On July 31st, a reinspection was performed, and the car was gone. The property is now in compliance. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing an abandoned vehicle at this location. The city would like to also recover the costs incurred in bringing this case before the special magistrate in the amount of $303.90 to be paid within the 7 days of the written order of the magistrate as well. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay, and based on the evidence testimony received, I'll find in favor of the city, find that the respondent was in violation for allowing abandoned vehicles on the subject property, find that the respondent cured that violation prior to the hearing, but after the time set the notice of violation for it to be cured. And based on that, we'll order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $303.90. That amount will be due within 7 days from the date of my written order.
Thank you.
Case number 2023-775, Donald J. Baldwin, owner, location violation, 23 Ohio Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Pam Neal, Community Compliance Officer. I am presenting this case for the property located at 23 Ohio Avenue. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: a copy of the notice of violation sent to the owner, a copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail to the owner, a copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail to the owner, a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, evidence of mailings, copy of the deed to the property, copy of the code section in violation, copy of the cost incurred if the special magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $229.90, and the respondent is not here. On May 2nd, I received an email from Keith Savage of the city's tree arborist stating that the large oak tree in the front yard of this location is dead and appears that it has been dead for a while. On May 3rd, I went to the location to verify, and I took 3 photos. On May 4th, a notice violation was sent to the owner. On June 6th, the reinspection was performed, and the tree was still there. I took 1 photo. On June 7th, the notice violation was sent by certified mail to the owner. On July 10th, the reinspection was performed. The tree was still there. Took 1 photo. On July 11th, the statement of violation notice of hearing was sent by certified mail to the owner. On July 28th, a reinspection was performed, and the tree was still there. I took 1 more photo. On August 14th, a reinspection was performed. The property is still in violation with the dead tree, and I took 1 photo. I did go by there today, and still nothing has been done, and I haven't heard anything from the owner. It is the city's recommendation.
Does
That
the
the
owner
res-
reside at the property?
Excuse me?
Does the owner reside at the property?
Yes, sir. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing a dead tree on private property at this location, and to have the dead tree removed by September 16th, 2023, or pay a fine of $100 a day until compliance is met. The city would like to also recover the costs incurred in bringing this case before the special magistrate in the amount of $229.90 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate as well. And that concludes my presentation.
Can you go back to any of the photos of the tree? I just want to ask a quick question about,
That's
So,
the latest one.
it looks like, just so that I can get a grasp of the severity of the situation. If that tree were to fall or drop branches, it looks like right-of-way potentially gets impacted, depending which way it falls. Looks like it could fall into that power line in my,
Yeah, that's why
or into the structure, but it doesn't look like it's threatening any other structures other than the property structure
right,
and the power line.
right.
Okay. Based on the evidence testimony received, I'll find in favor of the city, find that the respondent is in violation for allowing a dead tree on the property. Order the respondent to have the tree removed by September 16th, 2023. If it's not removed by that date, a fine in the amount of $100 per day will run for every day until the tree is removed. We'll also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $229.90, due within 7 days from the date of my written order.
Thank you.
Case number 2023-1358, Robert Gadu, owner, repeat, location of violation, 810 West New Nolte Road, St. Cloud, Florida.
Some of these are repeat, some of these are new, right?
Correct. I
Okay.
think there's only one, I believe there's only one new one.
Okay.
I'm sorry, two new ones. Good afternoon, April Bennett, Community Compliance Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I'm presenting this case for the property located at 810 West New Nolte Road. At this time, I'd like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, posted on the property and City Hall; copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail, posted on the property and City Hall; copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code sections in violation of, copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the costs incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $243.70, and he is not here. On July 7th, while on routine patrol, I observed a large pile of accumulation at this property. High grass and weeds over a height of 8 inches, and the property being kept in an unsanitary condition. While doing research for this case, it was also found out that there was an expired electrical permit that was required to cure a violation for a previous case that was presented to the magistrate in 2020, and he was found guilty. 4 photos were taken.
Is the junk and debris violation, is that a repeat?
Sorry, I believe so. Yes. On July 13th, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail, posted the property in City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 11 photos.
Are there neighbors?
Yes.
Can they see all this?
Mhm. On July 31st, a reinspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. 2 photos were taken. On August 1st, I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property in City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and took 1 photo. On August 11th, a reinspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. 1 photo was taken. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing an expired electrical permit, the repeat violations of high grass and weeds over a height of 8 inches, and accumulation of solid waste, and the property kept in an unsanitary condition and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until August 31st to correct the violation for the expired permit, or a fine in the amount of $100 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also recommend $500 a day for the repeat violations of the 2021 IPMC from the date that the violations were observed, starting on July 7th. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the special magistrate in the amount of $243.70 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate. And this concludes my presentation.
Okay, based on the evidence testimony received, I'll find in favor of the city, find that the respondent is in violation for the expired electrical permit. I find that that is a new violation and order it to be cured by August 31st, 2023. If not brought into compliance by that date, a fine in the amount of $100 per day will run for that violation until compliance is met. For the remaining violations, I find that those are repeat violations. Order the respondent to pay the amount of $500 per day. I'm sorry, did you ask for me to backdate those, or did you ask for that to start now?
Backdate it till July 7th.
That was the day of your first observation?
Yes,
7th?
July 7th. Mhm.
Order those fines to begin running on July 7th, and they will continue to run until those violations have been cured. And those are the violations of the International Property Maintenance Code related to the exterior condition of the property, both the accumulation of junk and debris, the sanitary conditions, and the overgrown grass. Order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $243.70. That amount will be due within 7 days from the date of my written order. Cover it.
Thank you.
Case number 2023-1412, Melissa Lane Torres, owner, location of violation 3808 Enchantment Lane, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Alex Miller, Community Compliance Officer for the City of St. Cloud. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items. Copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, posted at the property and City Hall. Copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail, posted at the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, copy of the code section in violation, a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in an amount of $254.70, and the respondent is not here. I'd like to provide a little history for this property. I also provided you some additional evidence on the folder. On March of this year, I received a complaint about this property being used as a short-term rental, and the owner was advised of the code violation, and she was in agreement to not use the property as a short-term rental in the future, and the case was closed. On June 5th, 2023, I received another complaint about the same violation, reached out to the owner, and she stated that there were family members and no further action was taken. On July 20th, 2023, Code Enforcement receives another complaint about the ongoing issue with the property. Photos and proof of the violations were received, and I verified that the house was being listed again as a short-term rental, and 4 photos were provided.
Cycle back, give me a minute. So go back to the first one. What do you want me to see in this photo?
So these are vehicles there, the people who are staying at the Airbnb, different vehicles all the time. So these are the vehicles that the next door neighbor kept on
Mhm.
taking.
And
So,
okay, so these came in from next door neighbor.
yes.
Okay, and so have you identified on this photograph where the vehicles are from?
They were from out of state.
And do you know the date that this photograph was taken?
That was taken on July 20th when he sent the complaint.
Next photo. Same questions for this photo.
This also from out of state, and I believe, I don't remember the date that he took those pictures from the house. I don't have it on my
But this
file
would have been a different date than the first
Yes.
set.
Yes, sir.
Do you happen to have any sense from your correspondence with the neighbor as to would this have been in relatively close proximity to the first
Yes.
photo you showed me?
Yes, sir. This is the listing from the property on the website. This is just what he provided to me, and I was able to verify that on the Airbnb website, that she was listing the property.
Can you go back to the prior photo?
Yes, sir.
I was just looking, do you have you seen anything on the Airbnb listing that gives length of stay, minimum length of stay?
No, because when I spoke with her last time, I told her that she can rent for 30 days minimum stay, and she said the last time she said there were family members that she was allowed to have the property, family members of the property, and that's why I didn't do anything. So I haven't spoken with the owner ever since.
Okay.
Sorry. On July 20th, 2023, Code Enforcement receives another complaint about the ongoing issue with the property. I'm sorry, I already said that, I'm sorry. On July 24th, I received another email along with a picture about a new vehicle parked at this location. A notice of violation was sent by certified mail to the owner to correct the violation. While posting the property, I contacted the owner of the vehicle, and she stated that she was just a cleaning lady and she was preparing the house for the next guest. Posted the property in City Hall, and 2 photos were taken. On August 1st, another email was received from the complainant showing new vehicles being parked at this location. 2 photos he sent. On August 2nd, a reinspection was performed and verified that the property is still registered as a short-term rental. A statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent by certified mail to the owner, posted the property in City Hall, an affidavit of posting was created, and 1 photo of the posting was taken. On 8/14, I verified that the property is still in violation, and I had no contact with the owner. She has not returned any of my calls or anything like that.
So on 8/14, you verified the property's it's still not in compliance. How did you verify that on 8/14?
Because she was still registered with her Airbnb, and she's also registered with the county. I guess they have to have some permit from the county as well to be registered to use the property as an Airbnb rental.
Any new vehicles since August 2nd?
Nope, I been in contact with the complainant, and I haven't seen new vehicles. The complainant has said has not seen any new vehicles.
Okay, I am going to find that there was a violation. What you did with the vehicles, or what you did with presenting the complainant's pictures of the vehicles, that has shown me that there was a short-term rental going on.
Yes.
Here's the problem that I think we have now, is that we have no evidence of it currently being rented short-term.
Mhm.
The Airbnb listing, at least what was shown to me, does not state a minimum or a maximum length of stay. And so I cannot derive from that just because it's listed on Airbnb doesn't mean it's actually being rented for less than the period allowed by the city. And being registered with the county to conduct short-term rentals, again, also doesn't mean that they are currently renting it short-term.
Would it not be persuasive that the past conduct with the evidence presented from
Oh,
prior occupants
I suspect it is, but hear me out.
would be consistent?
They were in violation.
Sure.
They have cured the violation. If it happens again, it will be a repeat violation.
Yes, sir.
I think that puts the city in a
Sure.
better spot for enforcement
Sure.
going forward than me finding that they have something to cure, because I'm
Sure.
not sure they haven't already cured it. And I'm
The city's fine with that, absolutely.
I figured you would be,
Sure.
but the other thing that I want to say just because I represent coastal communities and we have big short-term rental problems over there, so I've prosecuted a few of these.
Sure.
And one of the issues with the Airbnb listing that I'm always paranoid about is that is a First Amendment issue that we're getting into too. And to just say that, well, them posting whatever it is they're posting, that the words themselves are not illegal. And it's the action. And so without evidence of a current rental, I'm going to find there was a violation. It was cured after the date set for cure, but prior to the hearing, and any future violations will be a repeat violation, but I am going to find that as of today, they appear to be in compliance.
Okay.
So I'm going to enter that order. Obviously, because I'm finding that it would be a repeat violation if it recurs, those fines would be up to $500 per day, beginning when you first observe the violation. And I will also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $254.70.
Yes, sir.
That amount will be due within 7 days from the date of my order.
Thank you.
Case number 2023-1952, Maria Luisa Topete, owner, location of violation, 815 and 817 Eastern Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
We consolidating?
If you wouldn't mind.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead and read the other one too.
Case number 2023-1953, Maria Luisa Tope, owner, location of violation, 819 and 821 Eastern Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
So I have two recommended, this is identical, right? I have two recommendations, but they look like they're identical to me.
I believe, yes,
both
I
have
think so.
both? Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure. And so these are consolidated, not
Yeah.
just for purposes of hearing,
Yes,
but
it's
you would like them
two
to be
sets of
consolidated for the order also? Separate orders or same order? One order? Okay. I'm assuming it's 4 properties and just the violation kind of spans out across all 4.
Yes, 2 duplexes.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Community Compliance Officer for the City of St. Cloud. I would like to present these 2 cases together for the properties located at 815 and 817 Eastern Avenue and 819 and 821 Eastern Avenue, since they are the same violations. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: a copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail, copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail, copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, copy of the deed to the properties, and a copy of the costs incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $343.20, and that is for both properties combined. That's the total. She is not here.
Thank you.
On November 15th, I received a complaint in reference to a fence at this location that was in disrepair. I performed an inspection and observed that the fence was in disrepair and high grass and weeds at this location. 6 photos were taken.
Can you go back through those photos, since we've consolidated these cases? Can you just give me a sense of where the property line falls as I'm looking at these at the fence?
So the fence that's in that photo is her property line. The property in front is another parcel that's not included in this case. So it's going to be the 2 properties that are next door. So the corner of the house, you can see that's the first duplex unit, and then there's another one to the right side of it.
Okay, so is it the fence in the center of the frame that's the issue?
There's multiple, that
the
frame,
fence in the
yes,
center-
yes,
This photo, am I
Yes.
looking at the fence in the center of the frame?
yes,
Okay. And I'm looking, that one, I was looking at the same fence, just a different angle, right?
correct.
Okay.
And then that fence is straight ahead when you pull into the driveway to the duplexes. That's the one that's on the side of the property. And then this one is in front of the properties, and it separates her duplexes from the other duplexes that are in front on 10th Street.
Okay, so this fence I'm looking at now, this crosses the property line?
Correct.
Yes, okay, okay.
On November 17th, a notice violation was sent out by regular mail. On December 9th, I received a call from the property owner who advised that she was going to get quotes to replace the fence, and she would decide whether she wanted to replace it, repair it, or remove the fencing. On December 30th, I spoke with the property owner who advised that she was still in the process of getting quotes and needed more time. I was able to verify that the property was mowed, so the grass violation was closed out. On April 7th, I verified that there was not an application submitted for the fence. On May 4th, I checked again, verified that there was not an application submitted for the fence. On May 19th, a reinspection was performed and the violation was not corrected. I also verified that there is not an application for the permit submitted. I also observed that the grass and weeds were high again, so this violation was added back to the case and 3 photos were taken.
Is it just the vegetation along the fence line, or was there other vegetation that was overgrown?
There's some overgrown, not as high, but there is overgrown vegetation around the units. On July 25th, a reinspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. I also verified that there was not an application submitted for the fence. 8 photos were taken.
No junk and debris violation, right?
No. On July 31st, I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail to the owner of record, posted the property in City Hall, did an affidavit of posting, and 14 photos were taken. On August 14th, a reinspection was performed and the violations were not corrected. I was able to verify that the property was mowed, however, it was not string trimmed and the fence is still in disrepair. I also verified that there was not an application submitted for the fence. 11 photos were taken. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of having high grass and weeds over a height of 8 inches and a fence to remain in disrepair at this location and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until September 8th to obtain permitting, or a fine in the amount of $100 a day be assessed until compliance is met. I did have a conversation this morning with the owner of the property. She's decided to replace it at a later time. She's still getting estimates, but in the meantime, she's removing the fencing. So the fencing along the back property line has already been removed, and she has a contractor that is supposed to be going over to remove the rest of her fencing on the 18th. So that should hopefully be corrected by that time. The city would also request the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $243.20 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
When you talked to the owner, did she give any indication when she's going to get the rest of the grass mowed or string trimmed?
She, when they removed the fence, they went ahead and string trimmed the back line, the back property line, and then they're supposed to do the rest of it as they take the fence down. So hopefully by the 18th, it'll be completed.
I just wanted to, I'm going to put the 18th in the order that she has told us she's going to have it repaired by the 18th, so I was going to, I'll include the grass in that, just so she remembers what she told you. Anything else?
No, sir.
first amount? Because it was 343, but she said 240 something at the end. So I was
There was two amounts.
There's
One's
two.
two.
It's that plus the 80 from the other case.
Okay. Right.
And I did the math, looked at the updates, did the math, so it adds up. So I
Okay.
will. Yeah, it's 342, 343.20, I think, is the total, right? Yeah.
Correct.
There it is. So find in favor of the city, find that respondent is in violation for high grass and weeds over 8 inches. And also the fence in disrepair, I find that fence and the overgrown condition runs across the shared property line. Both of these properties are in the same ownership, and it is the same violation, just spanning the property line. So I'm going to enter a consolidated order on the two cases. Order the respondent to, I do find that the respondent has taken down some of the problematic fence and cured some of the problematic conditions with the grass, but the violations do remain. The respondent has advised the community compliance officer that the remaining corrections will be completed by August 18th. We'll order the respondent that the violations must be cured by September 4th, 2023. If they're not cured by that date, a fine in the amount of $100 per day will run until compliance is met. We'll also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred in both cases consolidated in the amount of $343.20. That amount will be due within 7 days of the date of my order.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did they give you the most interesting cases?
Unfinished business, none. New business, none. Next scheduled meeting, September 13, 2023.
And thank you, everybody, for working with me on getting that rescheduled. I appreciate it. Anything else from the city?
It just bears mentioning, I talked with Attorney McCullough. I told him I'd
I was wondering
informally
about
address the magistrate. The parties have agreed to just sit back and wait for the activity from the appellate level on the cases. We've heard nothing on the Neptune Road cases. So
Is it fully briefed?
it's fully briefed, as I understand. I've heard
Has there
nothing
been a
this
request for oral arguments?
There have been requests.
But no oral arguments have
I've heard
been
of nothing.
ordered or conducted?
Nothing has happened.
Okay.
So that's where we are.
Okay. Well, thank you. Anything else? Then we are adjourned. That wasn't too bad.
Nope.